Participants. Taylor argues for no-excuse absentee, vote by mail with strong administration. Reese argues cautious, against broad expansion without process. Fixes Taylor. Let's start with what the best studies say. When states mail ballots or make absentee access easy, turnout nudges up, especially for people who would otherwise face long lines or scheduling conflicts. And crucially, the large N state and county analyses don't find a systematic partisan advantage. In other words, mail voting is mostly about convenience and inclusion, not gaming the scoreboard. Reese. Convenience matters, but we shouldn't romanticize the mechanics. Mail voting introduces new failure modes: signatures that don't match, ballots that arrive late, envelopes filled out incorrectly. Those aren't theoretical. In multiple states, younger voters and some minority groups have higher rejection rates. If we expand mail voting without fixing those frictions, we risk trading in-person barriers for mail-based disenfranchisement. Taylor. That's why the reforms that work look boringly operational. Clearer envelopes and instructions, ballot tracking texts so voters know when a ballot is sent, received, and accepted. Reminder nudges to return earlier. Longer cure windows and proactive outreach when there's a signature issue. When administrators execute, lost votes fall sharply. It's logistics, not ideology. Reese. Logistics are not free. Election offices need funds for scanners, ballot sorting, signature training, and bilingual materials. They need USPS liaisons and Dropbox security protocols. If lawmakers flip the policy without paying for the infrastructure, they set administrators up to fail. And the rejection disparities show up on the back end. Taylor. Agreed on funding. But there's a reason all mail states keep the model. Voters like it, and it spreads demand away from a single election day. That means fewer bottlenecks, shorter in-person lines for those who need them, and more resilient elections if there's a storm or a public health event. It's risk diversification across time and channels. Reese. Diversification cuts both ways. When millions of ballots travel through the mail, chain of custody becomes distributed. You rely on delivery performance and address quality. Rural routes, college dorms, tribal lands with non-standard addresses. These contexts amplify failure risk. Voters who've never voted by mail may not know to sign the envelope, use the secrecy sleeve, or add proper postage if required. Taylor. And that's where targeted outreach matters. Run text campaigns to first-time mail voters. Place staffed drop-off centers near campuses, apartment clusters, and communities with non-standard addresses. Put QR codes on the instruction sheet linking to a 60-second how to return video in multiple languages. Election science gives us the playbook. It just needs to be executed. Reese. My skepticism is also about expectations. Some advocates promise mail voting will transform turnout. The credible evidence says the average effect is modest. If we sell it as a silver bullet and then find that overall participation barely moves, the public will feel duped. And we'll have spent scarce dollars we could have put into registration, civic education, or modernizing in-person sites. Taylor. Fair criticism. The honest pitch is that mail voting trims friction on the margin. For an individual nurse on a 12-hour shift or a parent juggling childcare, eliminating a 90-minute line can be the difference between voting and not. Aggregated across the state, that's a non-trivial number of ballots. Modest average effects can still matter in close races. Reese. What about trust? Even if fraud rates are low, some voters simply don't believe it. They want to feed a paper ballot into a scanner themselves. I'd rather design a system that accommodates those preferences than double down on a channel they distrust. Taylor. We can do both. Keep in-person voting robust. Early voting sites, weekend hours, and well-resourced election day precincts. While offering mail as a parallel option, people choose their channel. Meanwhile, we boost transparency around mail processing. Live streams of counting rooms, published rejection rates by precinct, and audits of signature verification accuracy. Reese. Transparency helps, but I still worry about disparate impacts. Younger voters' ballots are rejected more often because their signatures vary, and newer voters make envelope mistakes. If that's predictable, then expanding mail voting without fixing cures is foreseeably inequitable. Taylor, which is why cure by default should be standard. The moment a ballot is flagged, send a text, email, and letter with a QR to schedule a quick video cure or an in-person fix. Extend cure windows, allow multiple channels to verify identity, and track cure success rates like a KPI. Treat every rejected ballot as a customer service ticket until it's resolved or the voter declines. Reese. Okay, suppose we do that. We should also test changes before scaling. Pilot revised envelopes and instructions, a /B test wording and icons, and run user testing in languages voters actually speak. Publish the results so the public sees this isn't guesswork. Taylor. Completely agree. Also, lean on automation where appropriate, barcodes for tracking, intelligent sorting, and machine-assisted signature triage, with humans making final calls, and measure everything. Time to acceptance, rejection reasons, cure rates by demographic, USPS transit time distributions. If a category underperforms, change the design mid-cycle. Reese. One last point. Dropbox placement. If you're going to rely on mail and drop-offs, you must distribute boxes equitably and secure them. Publish criteria for placement: population density, transit access, parking, and publish audits. Don't let the public think drop boxes are partisan tools. Taylor. That's exactly the posture an evidence-driven jurisdiction should take. Equal access, heavy measurement, and rapid iteration. When election offices run that playbook, mail voting becomes a boring, reliable utility, like online bill pay. Voters who want the ritual of in-person voting still have it. Everyone else gains a flexible alternative. Reese. Then we're closer than it sounds. I'm not opposed to mail voting. I'm opposed to doing it cheaply or carelessly. If lawmakers fund the operations, protect in-person options, and commit to transparency and equity, I can live with broader absentee access. Taylor. And I'm saying that with those guardrails, no excuse absentee, mail voting is a practical, low-drama way to reduce frictions and expand participation without warping partisan outcomes. It's not a panacea. It's plumbing. Build it right, maintain it, and it works. Reese. Build it right is the key. If we do, more people will vote, fewer ballots will be lost, and the process will earn confidence instead of suspicion. Taylor. That's the goal. More voices heard, fewer preventable errors, and a system that feels simple to voters and accountable to the public.